Welcome to the League of Women Voters and the Alliance for the Arts Virtual Candidates Forum. Some of the League's voter service activities include candidate forums and voter guides. This information is made available to the voting public to help in their decision-making process. The League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization that does not support or oppose candidates or political parties. Happy learning.
Welcome to a candidate forum presented by the League of Women Voters of Lee County in conjunction with the Alliance for the Arts. The purpose of these forums is to inform the voting public of the opinions of the candidates running for office. It's not a debate. There will be no crosstalk between the candidates. There won't be any comments from one candidate on another candidate's position. They will be given 2 minutes to open. They will be given 2 minutes to close. They will be given 1 minute to answer each question. The order of answering the questions and opening and closing is random, to be decided at the beginning of the forum itself. So sit back and enjoy. Thank you. Good afternoon, and welcome to the League of Women Voters Candidate Forum for District 7 in Cape Coral, presented in conjunction with the Alliance for the Arts. We are presenting this forum virtually because of the shutdown in the community, people unable to get around, and we hope that we can bring some enlightenment to you on the issues. The candidates know the rules. You have heard a little thing before you got to this about what the rules are, and so you know that we're all going to be following this. I picked the way that we start this kind of at random, and then we'll do that. We're all going to give opening statements, and at the end, they'll all give closing statements, and the closing statements will be in the reverse order of the opening statements. Questions are going to be alternating between the candidates as to who is answering that question first, but they'll all answer the same question. So with that, I would ask that Ms. Cosden go ahead and give her opening statement. It's 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you. And thank you to the League of Women Voters and to Alliance for hosting this. I think it's a great public service. I'm Jessica Cosden, your City Council member for District 7. I was elected in 2015. It's my first term in elected office, but I am asking for a second term. I was born in Cape Coral, raised in Cape Coral, went to public school here, went away to college. I got my Bachelor of Arts from Florida Atlantic University, and then came back and put down roots and started a family here in Cape Coral. And I plan to live here for the rest of my life. My husband is an Army combat veteran who is a software developer for the state of Florida, and I have 3 kids. They're 1, 8, and 10. I'm working on my Master of Public Administration. I work in nonprofit administration, and I found since becoming elected that I want to work in government and nonprofit. So that's why I'm finishing up my master's degree in public administration. As a council member for the past 5 years, I've served on multiple different committees from the Metropolitan Planning Organization. I chair the Local Coordinating Board, which oversees transportation disadvantage funding from the state here in Lee County. I also sit on the Coast and Heartland National Estuary Program Partnership Board. And I served on the Charter School Governing Board for 2 years for the municipal charter schools. So I'm an engaged council member. I like to answer every email and phone call that I receive, and held multiple town hall meetings, both online and in person, around my district since I was elected. And I'm looking forward to answering all the questions we have today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mr. Donnell?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. And again, thank you to the League of Women for this forum. My name is Derek Donnell, AKA Dr. Donnell, AKA Big D, AKA DJ D. I have so many names and nomenclatures that I don't even remember, but I can't say some things my wife calls me. But I have been here in Cape Coral, this beautiful city, for 25 years. I was elected to District 7 back in 2007 during the construction crisis that we had, and I was reelected for a second term Due to term limits, I had to step away, and now I'm back seeking your support and your vote to return to District 7. I am a commissioned officer in the United States Marine Corps. I also had some enlisted time at Paris Island, where I was noted as the battalion honor man. As far as education is concerned, I have my bachelor's and master's from Jackson State University, and I completed a doctorate here at the University of Central Florida. One of the things I'm most proud of is my wife and my family. I've been married to my beautiful wife, Sherry, for 27 years, and I have two daughters, Andrea, who's out and doing her thing, and my youngest daughter, who just graduated. She was part of the COVID graduation class from North Fort Myers, and I'm very proud of her and them moving forward. Today, I come to you. There's many more. We'll answer questions, but I'll say right here, and I'll say it again, at DerekDonnell.com for more information about me. I've had a litany of titles, but the one that I like most is just an engaged community member. We are about to embark upon a very challenging time when we start talking about the budget and how to relate our service levels for the city to maintain our quality of life. So again, as you look at me at this interview, you can go to DerekDonnell.com for more information, but I seek your support. I'm going to work hard. I'm a consensus builder, critical listener, and most of all, in these times, I'm very respectful. I have a track record you can look at and see that we will work together, and there's no obstacle that together that we cannot overcome. Look forward to your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Cummings?
Hi, yes, I'm Patty Cummings. I moved here to Cape Coral about 6 years ago from Peoria, Illinois, brought my family here. We fell in love with Cape Coral because of what it had to offer. It's felt safe, the waterways, all the canals. It was just breathtaking for us, and we've enjoyed it ever since we moved here. You know, I started my first business here in Cape Coral. It was a small business, and doing that, it brought in so many other opportunities to even expand and to grow. So I created a product that we now sell worldwide. From that, we got to start doing workshops. People flew in, we got to teach them how to open businesses and how to grow their businesses. So I've been very thankful for a lot of things came here with us in Cape Coral, Florida. I have twin boys. They are 14 years old. They're identical twins, and they absolutely love it here. You know, I stand behind water quality. That's a big issue that I know we've been facing. Our businesses, I definitely stand behind our businesses, our jobs. And I want to thank you guys for having me here today and to share my viewpoints of things that I can bring here to Cape Coral, Florida. The one thing I can share with you is I am an action taker, and especially in today's time, we don't have a lot of time. We've got to move quick and get things done. And I'm looking forward to answering some of these questions and giving you some of my ideas and opinions on how we can start working quickly in this city. Thank you.
Thank you. The first question will be presented to Ms. Cosden, and then the other candidates will go ahead and answer the same question. Ms. Cosden, why are you running for this office, and what do you hope to accomplish?
Okay, so that's a good question, because I'm going to go back to why I ran in 2015. I ran because I did not see myself represented on the city council. I didn't see young families represented. So that's why I'm running again, except now I am representing young families, and I come with 5 years of experience as a council member. As far as what I want to accomplish, I don't think I could list it all in my remaining 36 seconds, but I'll go through what I can. I want to make the UEP run more smoothly when we move into the North 1 UEP area. I want to make things easier for businesses. I want more affordable housing available in Cape Coral. And we know there's a deficiency in multifamily housing because of a study that we did in 2019. I want to continue working for water quality. I lobbied our elected leaders in Tallahassee and in Washington, D.C. On water quality and water quantity issues here in Cape Coral, sidewalks and street lights, and I want to keep the FSA low.
Thank you. Mr. Donnell?
Well, why I'm running is because right now there's a lot going on when it comes to politics, and I am a consensus builder here. There's this just lack of trust and a lot of divisiveness going on, whether you talk federal, state, or local politics. So as before, it's tough out there with COVID, but I want to be the stable one to work with us and understanding that what we need to do in order to move the city forward. I can tell you the number one plank on my platform As an adjunct professor at FSW, I've also taught at Kaiser University and Rasmussen College, as well as currently I'm in the Lee County School District. I'm an educator. I'm telling you now, it is time for us to bring a higher institution here to the city of Cape Coral. The timing is right. It does not have to be a brick and mortar. So that is the one piece that I would like to champion. I'm asking council that I could champion that effort. And also, I'm a good steward, understanding what it means to have a fiscally responsible budget. And this growth has to be smart and strategic.
Thank you. Ms. Cummings?
Yes, I would like to make a positive change moving forward here in Cape Coral, Florida. As an entrepreneur, starting with a small business, growing and manufacturing another product that we now sell worldwide and helping businesses start up, I feel like we need someone such as myself in this seat to help these other businesses. A lot of them have gone under. Some of them are going through bankruptcy. Some of them are barely hanging on. I want to help. I want to help save what we have left and bring more. I have ideas, creative ideas. We got to think outside the box, especially in times like today. We have to take action. We don't have time for delay. And I want to take care of the citizens of Cape Coral. I want to be the voice for the people. The people want their voices heard. And I will be the voice for them. And I will make sure we get the jobs done quickly in Cape Coral. Thanks.
Thank you. The second question will be started by Mr. Donnell. What are the most important challenges facing the office that you're seeking, and how do you propose to address them?
Well, no doubt about it. The most important challenge that we're going to have is that budget. Because if you look across our revenue streams, understanding that the property values went up, but our state shared revenue is down. 5 cent sales tax is down. 6 cents gas tax is down. 0.5 cent sales tax is down. The PST, if you look at the budget that's going to be coming out here next month, it's going to be down. But we still have an expectation of having our services at a high level, as well as maintaining our quality of life. I submit to you that's going to be a challenge. However, it's not something that's not overcomable. Number two, you understand that this growth, I mentioned growth. We're exploding out here on State Road 80, which west of Chiquita out there on Pine Island Road, as well as east. But we have got to make sure that we are doing it in a smart manner so we don't have urban sprawl. And again, I cannot mention this enough. It's how much communicating and listening and bridging that gap between the community and the council to have a nice cohesive community and council with being respectful and courteous of each other's opinions.
Thank you. Ms. Cummings?
Yeah, I feel like we are definitely facing, once again, like what we're all talking about is businesses, the economy. Knowing that our biggest challenge we're having at Cape Coral of bringing other businesses in to help, with keeping our taxes lower is infrastructure. And I have an idea that I feel that can help solve a lot of problems, that can actually bring in more businesses, create a lot more jobs. And then once the monies come in, we can go ahead and start putting monies into the sidewalks. I was looking at Bimini Basin, Tarpon Point. We have a few areas where we can bring actually a Paradise Casino boat here that can actually bring in a lot of opportunities here in Cape Coral. We are a growing city. We have a lot of people moving here. We need to get more businesses and jobs out there. Our captains will be happy. They can do taxis. These dealers can make good money. It just creates a lot of opportunities. That will bring in more businesses. We have businesses and now we have monies to put in the city, and now we can start fixing some infrastructure that's needed immediately.
Thank you. Ms. Cosden?
Thank you. So to me, I'm going to echo I think the biggest issue right now facing City Council is going to be businesses. And that's kind of a big umbrella. So I don't just mean attracting business to Cape Coral, although that's part of it, but I mean working with our existing businesses, because there's still something broken about our system for permitting. I've had many businesses in my term complain, and I know that we have done a lot to address these issues at the city, but they're obviously not completely fixed. So I'll be talking to the new city manager who starts next month about that. But also attracting businesses. So that means utilities in the north, because otherwise, why would businesses come here if there's no water and sewer? Utilities, obviously a well-funded economic development office, and strategic people working there, and properly situated zoning and land use to encourage business in the right places.
Thank you. Ms. Cummings, how should the city address economic development and infrastructure improvements while assuring equality and equity for all the residents, including those in underserved neighborhoods?
Well, like I was saying, that's where we have to get creative, because the one thing citizens aren't wanting is their taxes to keep rising up. This is where we have to have incentives brought here to Cape Coral, Florida. We have to think outside the box. I feel like there's a lot of opportunities because there's so much land, I feel, in areas of Cape Coral that can be filled to help. You know, as a business owner, I agree with Jessica, these businesses need to be saved. A lot of these businesses need to be saved. And once again, we need to get creative in how we save all these businesses from going under through this pandemic that we've been facing in 2020. With infrastructure, you know, that's expensive. And that's why we see these developers coming in. As soon as they're in, they're gone. We have to get infrastructure done immediately. But understanding in the crisis we're in, we have to have money. So that's why I feel like we can create a project that can bring in the money to start fixing these issues that we're dealing with right now, which is the Paradise Casino boat. We have the international waterways. It should not be a problem.
Thank you. Ms. Cosden?
The UEP, so when we talk about infrastructure, I think of the UEP because that's a project that affects everybody in Cape Coral at some point. Every property will be affected or has been affected. And there are hardship deferral guidelines, and there are some grants that are available for extension fees. I would like to expand our guidelines for hardship deferrals to allow for more people to participate, because right now, of all times, a lot of people in Cape Coral are going through financial difficulty. And regardless of that, the UEP will continue. The UEP will have to continue if we want to keep the water running, and it just would not make sense. I'm sure Dr. Donnell remembers, it would not make sense to stop and start the UEP. So expanding the deferral guidelines, the hardship guidelines, I think will help people and put less of a burden on those who are underserved.
Thank you. Mr. Donnell?
Well, therein lies the issue. It talks about economic development in a time where revenues are crashing and people are losing jobs. So you see, this is not going to be an easy issue. As far as the economic development right now, one of the things that we worked on was the economic incentives that are out there for both new and existing businesses. Those are going to need to be expanded. But our existing businesses right now, they are trying to stay afloat. So we're going to have to be really creative in how we address that, and by putting policies in place on those things that we have control over in order to help them. And with the new businesses, just because we're in a period where things are going south as far as around the COVID, we still have to be proactive that we're moving forward with our infrastructure. And the council has at its leisure, at its pleasure, some opportunities to put infrastructure in. But remember, it's just not for businesses. We have to know that this UEP impacts residents and businesses. So we're going to have to seek out, when you talk about underserved, I submit to you, those of all at the UEP now would consider themselves underserved. So we're going to have to really be thoughtful and creative about how we address that. Thank
you, Mr. Donnell. Ms. Cosden, what actions would you take to ensure quality, safe, clean, affordable housing for all city residents? What is wrong with me today? For all city residents, and reduce homelessness? Got that? Thank you.
Got it. Thank you. So that was two different questions. So I'm going to answer the homelessness issue first. Something my colleague Jennifer Nelson has been working on. She brought forward a preliminary recommendation to look at a homeless resource center here in Cape Coral, and I love that idea. I don't think we should just be sending everyone over the bridge to Fort Myers, because that's where the resources are, when we are the biggest city in the county. So I think that will be a great help for our homeless population. When it comes to affordable housing, I touched on this before, but I think the council needs to be keenly aware of the issue. It's an issue right now. We have not nearly enough multifamily housing for the number of people who need it, and that was proven in a 2019 study. In fact, we need about 2,500 units, multifamily units per year in Cape Coral to keep up with demand, and we're not meeting that demand as of now. So council needs to have policy that encourages multifamily developments. We recently added a new zoning district that allows for higher density in the right places. And my time's up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Donnell.
Well, when you start talking about the piece about affordable, now that's an interesting word, and I'm a wordsmith person. So there's this issue about affordable and attainable. The city right now is operating on policies that provide for attainable housing, but I submit to you, I would suggest to you that yes, we do have affordable housing available, but now we have to just determine what we mean when we say that. So there are policies in place, ordinances in place to make sure that all of our areas are supplied. But I did want to really jump onto this homelessness piece. I was the council representatives on the Human Services Council, which dealt with the 10-year strategic plan for ending homelessness. I can tell you it was an eye-opener, because that's not something that just gets solved because a few policies are passed by a few agencies. We're going to have to work collaboratively, both in our community and with other communities, to really address the multifaceted pieces to homelessness. But I do have a commitment, because to be a voice. Everyone needs a voice in our city, including the homeless.
Thank you. Ms. Cummings?
Yeah, I don't want to see any family out on the streets. It's not fair. I know we have a lot of veterans that live in the woods, and I'm not comfortable with that either. It's actually a lot of sad times for a lot of people, and unfortunately, through this rise that we're seeing, there's going to be more and more people that's going to be having to leave their homes because they can't afford their homes. So these are great questions that you're asking, and I do know that there are grants that are available to help solve a lot of these issues. And yeah, some of these people, like college kids, let's say, they want to leave the homes, but they can't because they can't afford it. We do need to bring in a solution here in the city of Cape Coral to help with the families, the young, the retired, that's more affordable for their living. We can get this done. Once again, there are grants that are out there that we can look into, that we can start helping solve this problem pretty quickly.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Mr. Donnell, what issues would you address with the police department in Cape Coral? And along with that, please cover your opinion on civil citations and other diversion programs.
Well, the number one question that I want to know is my retention and recruitment of law enforcement officers. As we all have been paying attention, could you imagine being a law enforcement officer right about now who's doing the right thing and have been doing it, and have to deal with what's going on? So I want to know, hey, how are you all doing? What's your morale like? So number one, retention, and also recruitment, because we need more officers as our city continues to grow. Number two, I would like to talk about the race relations and the diversity training. That would be something that I would like to talk about, where we are. Our police department, make no bones about it, they are accredited. We're like one of the top 3 safest cities, and that just doesn't come by accident. And then I would just like to talk about community policing, see what the policies are, because that seems to be the wave, and how we can increase that piece. And last but certainly not least, what was that question? I'm sorry, can you pause and give me 10 seconds? What was the last half?
No, I wanted you to address civil citations in lieu of.
Oh, yes. Jim, I can do that. Civil citation, having been a former principal at Alternative Learning Center, I can tell you I dealt with those children. So juveniles, I'm all over civil citations for them. And adults would have to be on a case-by-case basis, but understanding it's civil citation, and there was a second part to that. What was that second piece, Jim?
No,
the civil citation?
Thank you.
What was it? All right.
There wasn't anything else. All right. Ms. Cosden?
I'm definitely for law and order. I stand behind our police. First of all, for the young that have created crime or out there doing crime, I feel like each one of them should be looked at individually on a case-by-case basis, depending on how severe the crime was done. And I do feel like we need to start putting the hammer down, because things are getting really out of control. It's getting so out of control that I don't think I need to go into detail here of what's been happening here in 2020. You know, the young is our future, and we have to figure out a way to show them more positive and be more engaged with these young children that are angry and feel very upset with society. And unfortunately, you know, our men and women in blue are the ones that are suffering when they are doing their job. This is a very touchy and situation right now that everyone's finding, but I feel like each individual should be looked at differently.
I'm going to give you a few more seconds to respond to your opinion on civil citations in lieu of arrest.
So once again, you have 16-year-olders that have a mindset of a 25-year-older. I feel like we would have to look at them individually, where they would go through an interview process, hear what's going on, what are they facing back at home, what are the troubled areas, and then let the judge decide on where that should go. I feel like there's a lot that comes with this, not just, out there creating a problem. I feel like there's more that goes with the story. And I feel like, especially for the younger, there should be more of a one-on-one interview and to really get to the deep root of the problem.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Cosden?
Thank you. So Cape Coral is the safest city of its size in the state. And it's been like that for a long time. And I'm proud to live here. And it's why I continue to live here. I feel safe here. We have an excellent police department, and I knew that before I was elected, but now that I've been in office, I have seen firsthand what a great police chief we have and what a great department we have. They're nationally and state accredited. They have, I wish I had the number in front of me, but Chief Newland provided me with the number of complaints of excessive force, and it was like 0.00 something % of all interactions. So we don't have a problem. So to me, here in Cape Coral, every police department is different, and I know some police departments have serious issues. I just don't see them in Cape Coral, so I don't see a need to address any issues. They have body-worn cameras. They were one of the first in the region to do that. And our council has always been very supportive of them. I know my time's almost up, but I'd just like to answer about the civil citations. I do support civil citations. I work with at-risk middle and high school girls. That's my day job. And the whole goal is to stop the pipeline to prison. So civil citations would definitely do that for minor drug offenses and other small things.
Thank you. So we'll go to the closing statements. So, Ms. Cummings, you may start your close. 2 minutes.
Well, I would like to thank you for having me here and having this opportunity to speak to all the voters out there. I think it's time that we get some creative thinkers in the seat. I would love to have the opportunity and to prove to each and every one of you that I will work hard and I will make a change. And I want to make sure that I get these things done that I have shared with you, the little bit of the questions that we got to have today. But I want to have this opportunity. I have a passion for the people. I will make sure your voices are heard. I have some great ideas that I'm going to bring to the table that I feel like most of you are going to really like. And I just want to thank you all. And you can go to my website, cummingsforcapecoral.com. And you can review some of what I posted up there, but I try to keep things updated on my Facebook page, Cummings for Cape Coral 2020 on Facebook. And thank you. And I will be your voice here in Cape Coral, and we will start working right away as soon as I'm in that seat. I promise you, you will start seeing changes made immediately, positive changes. Thanks.
Thank you. Ms. Cosden?
Thank you. So I talk a lot about the issues that are important to me in my answers today, but I'm going to touch on some of those issues again because I want the voters to understand what I'll be thinking about over these next 4 years if I'm reelected. Water quality and water quantity. In 2018, we had the blue-green algae crisis. We all remember it well. We have a different crisis now, but I remember it well. Council was creative with 3 different experimental ideas to combat the algae in our canals. And I spearheaded a council resolution to send a letter to the Department of Health demanding that they research the health effects of blue-green algae. They actually did decide to do that. They funded an air quality study that's underway right now in Cape Coral. Speaking of the environment, the UEP has got to continue, so I'm in full support of that. I want to keep us the safest city in Florida. I want to make things easier for businesses. I want more affordable housing. And when I say affordable housing, I mean somewhere that someone can live, a nurse, a police officer, a teacher, someone who's middle class to find something that they can afford in Cape Coral so they don't have to live over the bridge. I'm going to continue lobbying state and federal representatives like I've done many times since I've been in office. mostly on water quality issues, but anything that matters to the citizens of Cape Coral. Sidewalks and streetlights. I don't think I touched on sidewalks, but sidewalks were not funded by the general fund up until this year, tentatively. It was funded just through grants. And so we added sidewalk funding in 2019. And I'm going to keep fighting for sidewalks, because if we want to stay a safe city, that doesn't just mean low crime. It also means pedestrian safety and quality of life. Street lights, I want to keep the fire service assessment low and keep a quality of life while keeping taxes as low as reasonable. That's all my time. Please visit www.jessicacosden.com for more information. Thank you very much.
Well, again, thank you all. Thank you, moderator, and our tech guy, Bill. Thanks. But again, for those of you all who are watching this stream, please share it. And I just want to have a conversation with you one-on-one. This is a job interview. And having been a supervisor on a number of jobs, I look at resumes and I look at their what they submit, their job application. I submit to you that on the numbers, I have the most related work experience. I have the most education, and I have the military experience within a budget area. So when you talk about being qualified for a position on paper, I no doubt the data speaks for itself. But this position is more than just, do you have all the requirements? Are you most qualified? I have a passion for the city. I've been around. It was great having the term limits. I set out and had a chance to look around and see what's going on. We have a short-term and long-term issue coming up, but this short-term piece is coming with the reducing revenue, trying to help our residents. We're majority of R1 residents as we seek to bring in businesses. We have some challenges ahead of us. I've been there, have a proven record of how we will work together. I'm a consensus builder. There are 8 people on that council. One person is not going to get it done. So, and I don't have all the answers. I have some ideas, and I want to work with council, being an independent voice. And always, my decisions will be made by the data, pure and simple. If the data supports it, you're going to see my vote. So it's a very important. I know a lot of people get caught in the federal and the state, but what impacts us on a day-to-day basis is the Cape Coral City Council. If you don't think so, just look at the past meetings that happened the last 2 times and that was recorded here in Cape Coral. We have a beautiful city. We have a safe city, but it's only going to stay that way if we hunker down and work through these immediate problems as we move forward. Again, check out DerekDonnell.com. I'm Dr. Derek Donnell. Please vote for me. Check me out on Facebook, Derek Donnell. God bless. Have a good day.
On behalf of the League of Women Voters of Lee County and the Alliance for the Arts, I want to thank you for appearing today. Your answers were very informative, and I'm sure it will help the voters. Again, thank you very much on behalf of the League and the Alliance.
Good job. Good job.